We have something we've seen more and more of lately in the city of Mobile, a new form of crime fighting called hotspot policing.
Fox 10 News reporter Michael Brannon has been out with police. He's seen this type of operation firsthand. He joins us live now from the 5th Precinct in West Mobile.
So, Michael, are police operations like these actually working?
Yeah, Bob and Lenise, we've seen a handful of these operations since February of this year, and Police Chief James Barber, he says it's helping keep you safe. Well, we cracked down on the number of 911 calls. We wanted to know how the Mobile Police Department cracks down on these hotspot locations and how it ensures the process actually works.
It's just the first phase of taking the street back.
In February, the Mobile Police Department introduced us to a new form of policing. One that Chief James Barber believes will put the bad guys behind bars and help clean up the streets. What constitutes a hotspot?
You know, a hotspot is nothing more than a geographical area within the jurisdiction that has an unusual, disproportionate number of crime. And so I guess it's the best way. And it shows up when we color code our maps on crime density. The more dense you see it, the crime in an area, the color begins to become red and even deeper red. And so it looks like little hot spots on the map. And so that's why the term hotspot is being used. We're certainly looking at some other areas. Obviously, we can't tell you where they are right now. Some of them are areas that people have complained about.
They've kept their promise and carried out operations all across the city. The first was on Webb Avenue in February, then another in Maysville just 2 months later. Most recently, the Mobile Police Department raided one set of buildings at the Peach Place Inn apartment complex off Jeff Hamilton Road. Officers executed search warrants, arrested 3, and seized more than 60 grams of spice, marijuana, crack cocaine, and prescription drugs. Chief Barber calls the apartments a hotspot for crime. There are 4 buildings associated with Peach Place, 2 on Leroy Stevens, 1 on Jeff Hamilton Extension, and the hotspot on Jeff Hamilton Road. Since January 2013 until May 2014, the numbers, according to the Mobile Police Department, explain it all. 33 911 calls at one location, 65 at another, 90 at the third. Then a spike, 227 calls for service at 8775 Jeff Hamilton Road, the latest hotspot location. When you're responding to these hotspots, do 911 calls play a part in it at all?
The 911 calls do start to drive this whole machine as far as the analysis or the scanning phase goes. And so we begin with that raw data.
We reached out to Peach Place Inn for comment, first by phone, then by email. After no response, we then went to the apartments to get an answer.
Back up in here pretty soon. Okay?
We were met at the door and asked to turn our cameras off. Shortly after, the manager came and talked to us off camera. She did not want to give a statement on camera, but gave us one in writing on behalf of the property owner. It says in part, "We were unaware that Peach Place Inn was classified as a hotspot by the Mobile Police Department based on the number of 911 calls received. According to the information provided, the calls were over a period of a year and a half and were as diverse as our guests." It goes on to say, "Our staff is dedicated to assuring that the guests follow all property rules and abide by the law. We always cooperate with law enforcement when given the opportunity."
I would say that we haven't completed the first 3 steps in that area. Peach Place and several other spots that we're working on are still in the response phase.
We come in and try to identify what's causing these things.
1st Precinct Lieutenant Roy Hodge says crime will never go away completely, but the department is doing everything it can to decrease crime in the community. According to the MPD, from February 2014 until May of this year, compared to the same time last year, home burglaries, stolen vehicles, vehicle burglaries, and assaults decreased.
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Good. How's everything been since the raid?
Oh, everything been great.
Everything going good within the community?
Yes, sir. We appreciate everything y'all do. You know, everything's been going good. Got a good neighborhood.
That's tenfold.
Since the raid, a community action group has been set up, and some residents say they're reaping the benefits. Cleaner streets, less crime, and an overall safer neighborhood for everyone.
Police officers have reached out to us. You know, they started patrolling the area real heavy, and they started talking to us and showing us love, and they had a cookout down there for us one day, and it was nice.
Unfortunately, a few days after that interview, there was a deadly shooting on Webb Avenue. But police are not giving up.
Ultimately, is this a good policing effort for the city of Mobile?
You know, the city of Mobile, I think, is on the verge of some really greatness. In order to get the city of Mobile to where we want it to be, which is the safest city, we've got to refocus our efforts and, again, challenge the organizational mission and challenge the status quo. It's a progressive idea. It is an idea that's certainly not new. It certainly makes a lot of sense, and we are seeing results from it.
The chief tells me taking criminals off the streets is really just part of the problem. Problem properties like dilapidated homes actually pose a threat to the neighbors in the communities, and these homes actually sometimes house criminal activity, the type that the police department is trying to head off before it even starts. He says if the property owners do not comply with certain rules and regulations, then the department can sue those property owners for not complying with those rules and regulations. And the chief tells me that he's going to go street by street and block by block to help reduce crime in the city of Mobile. Reporting at the 5th Precinct in West Mobile, Michael Brannon, Fox 10 News.